So I think I heard the question. So what's going on now was a question with the rookies. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
the plan for this week
Yeah.
and you guys reporting.
Yeah. So Dave, Rick Burkholder and Mitch Reynolds have done a phenomenal job of setting everything up to try to be COVID safe and the best we possibly can. So that's where we start. We're starting with a couple days of testing for the players. They do back-to-back tests, and then they'll actually from there work their physical, get their equipment, and then head with Ted to do whatever media obligations they potentially have. And there are a couple days for that. That takes you into 4 days here, and then there's a point where we're going to be able to have the guys lift and meet with them and do a potential walkthrough with them. So that's kind of how that sets up, and that goes for an extended period of time. Now, the league and the union are still working through a few things, but we're Bill O'Brien with the Texans and the Chiefs, we're starting it off and kind of working through it and working through the formats that have been given to us. But listen, I just the setup, when you guys see the setup, if you have an opportunity to do that, I mean, it's phenomenal. We're going to do everything out of the stadium. The way they've set it up, I mean, we could have a ton of people social distance more than we have with our football team. And they've done that. They've got it all set up with monitors and everything else. And they've got each meeting room is set up. They've split the Arrowhead Stadium in half. So one half, the defense is on one side, the offense is on the other side. And I mean, it's really, it was something. I mean, it was really something to watch form there. So, and then the testing, the guys, they're going to be tested often. So it'll be good that way. And then it's just, listen, there's a responsibility for coaches and players to make sure we handle ourselves right when we're away from it. And you know, we're still going to keep as much social distancing when we can. And that's, obviously it's a contact sport. So, but we're going to keep it when we're not in contact, we're going to keep our social distance when we're not playing, and we have all that set up, and we're going to have our masks set up and do all the things and wash our hands, do all those fundamental things. We're going to stay on top of that.
Andy, just as a quick follow-up, Andy, when do you expect, if all goes well, you can be on the field for something resembling a practice for the first time?
Yeah, we'll see on that, Adam. They're working through that right now. So normally what they're thinking right now is, and they're working through this, but it'll be about 8 days, which ends up being about 10 with days off, where they're lifting and you know, once we get to that point, once we get through the first 4 here with the physicals and this COVID testing. So we'll get through that, and then there'll be about 8 days, which equals 10 with the days off of lifting and meetings and potential walkthrough. So, and then we'll just take it from there. They'll have another part of a ramp up that'll last a little bit over a week, I think, where you might be able to put these padded shirts they have now. That's part of the new CBA. You kind of get into the new CBA rules, except it'd be extended a little bit. So that's what we know at this point. It seems like a pretty solid plan to allow the guys to ramp up and get themselves where they need to be. I think these guys have been working out and working change of direction and restriction with the bands that they have, and the giant rubber bands that they use to work some restriction and tugs and pulls and all that. So they'll keep themselves, you know, as much injury free as they can coming into camp. But again, we'll give them a good ramp up too.